since I was born and was around racing tracks. I don't really remember a first memory. I just remember it's just always been there. I think when people get to know me, that's not really me.
Michael Andretti has lived with one unfinished chapter for more than 3 decades. In 1993 at Monza, he stood on a Formula One podium driving for McLaren. It should have been the beginning of a long career at the pinnacle of motorsport. Instead, it became a footnote. 13 races into the season, Andretti was fired. 1 podium, no patience, no second chances. That failure never left him. While the Andretti name remained sacred in American racing, Formula One became the place where Michael Andretti was remembered not for greatness, but for disappointment. And that memory hardened into a mission. If he could not conquer Formula One as a driver, he would do it as an owner. Not as a guest, not as a backmarker, as a force. But Formula One had changed. It was no longer a sport where passion and engineering brilliance could overcome money. It had become a financial fortress, and Andretti was about to spend 30 years trying to break through its walls. The missed bargain, the £80 million decision. In 2016, Michael Andretti stood at the edge of Formula One ownership for the first time. Manor Racing was collapsing. The team was underfunded, uncompetitive, and barely surviving. But it had one priceless asset, an F1 entry. Andretti had the opportunity to buy Manor for approximately £80 million, a fraction of what teams are worth today. For most would-be owners, this was a golden ticket. Andretti walked away. The decision confused many at the time, but it was deeply personal. Andretti did not want to enter Formula One just to exist. He knew what it meant to be trapped in a slow car. He had lived it in 1993. Buying Manor would have guaranteed years at the back of the grid, burning cash while damaging the Andretti name all over again. He wanted a competitive foundation, not survival. That decision, in hindsight, defined everything that followed. By refusing the cheap entry, Andretti chose a harder road. One where every year of delay made Formula One more expensive, more exclusive, and more hostile to outsiders. The escalating cost. When $350 million wasn't enough, by 2021, Formula One had transformed into an asset class. Team values had exploded. Liberty Media's stewardship had turned the sport into a global entertainment machine. Andretti returned with a more aggressive strategy. Buy a controlling stake in an existing team that could be competitive. That team was Sauber. Negotiations reportedly reached an agreement for Andretti to purchase around 80% of Sauber for approximately $350 million. It was expensive, but achievable. Andretti had partners. He had infrastructure. He had a long-term plan. Then the conditions changed. Sauber's ownership demanded guarantees for future funding. Not just purchase price, but sustained capital injection for years. The total commitment ballooned towards $600 million. For Andretti, this crossed a line. He was willing to invest heavily, but not blindly. Once again, he walked away. The pattern was clear. Andretti would not buy his way into irrelevance. But every refusal narrowed his options. Formula One was consolidating. The door was closing. The $450 million gambit. Andretti's final strategy was the boldest yet. If Formula One would not sell him a seat, he would build one. He partnered with General Motors, one of the largest automotive companies in the world, under the Cadillac brand. This was not speculative money, this was industrial power. The proposal checked every box the sport claimed to value: financial backing, technical expertise, American market expansion, long-term commitment, even a future works engine program. Andretti accepted the brutal economics. The anti-dilution fee alone was reported at $450 million. Money paid simply to compensate existing teams for the perceived loss of revenue. In October 2023, the FIA approved the entry. That should have been the end of the story. Instead, it became the beginning of the blockade. In January 2024, Formula One management rejected the bid. The justification was surgical and devastating. Andretti-Cadillac, they claimed, would not add sufficient value to the championship. They questioned competitiveness. They questioned timing. They questioned relevance. What they did not question was money. Andretti had it. What they protected was control. Financial protectionism disguised as governance. Formula One's rejection was not about Andretti's readiness, it was about dilution of power. An 11th team meant shared revenues. It meant reduced leverage for existing teams whose valuations had skyrocketed precisely because entry was restricted. Formula One had become a closed ecosystem where scarcity was the product. Andretti's entry threatened that scarcity. Despite the rhetoric of competition, Formula One had quietly become protectionist. The sport no longer rewards ambition alone. It rewards alignment with existing power structures. Andretti represented something dangerous: independence. An American-owned team with a global manufacturer partner would not be easy to control. It would not rely on fragile funding. It would not accept permanent midfield obscurity. And perhaps most importantly, it would prove that Formula One's exclusivity is artificial, so the door stayed closed. The The personal cost of a strategic obsession. For Michael Andretti, this was not just a failed business deal, it was the culmination of 3 decades of pursuit. Every decision, rejecting Manor, walking away from Sauber, building Andretti Global, led to this moment. He had done everything Formula One said it wanted, and still, it wasn't enough. In the aftermath, Andretti stepped back from day-to-day leadership of the bid. The narrative shifted from determination to restraint. The dream was not dead, but it was suspended. Andretti stepped back from the day-to-day running of the bid and team to allow Cadillac a full run at being granted an entry into the F1 Championship in 2026. What this really means for Formula One. This story is not about failure, it is about a sport revealing its true priorities. Formula One no longer measures success by racing alone. It measures it by valuation stability, shareholder confidence, and control of entry. Michael Andretti's $500 million dream was not denied because it was weak, it was denied because it was disruptive. The irony is unavoidable. A sport built on innovation has become resistant to it. A championship that celebrates competition has quietly limited it. Andretti did not fail to get into Formula One. Formula One chose not to let him in. The legacy still unwritten. Michael Andretti's shadow still lives at Monza, but not in the way people once thought. It is no longer the shadow of a driver who fell short. It is the shadow of a man who spent his life chasing something he believed was right. His story is not really about one race, one team, or one decision. It is about time, patience, and a system that slowly changed while he stayed true to his goal. For many years, Michael Andretti believed that if he worked hard enough, if he planned carefully, and if he respected the sport, the door would open. He believed that effort mattered. He believed that racing should reward those who were willing to try, build, and fight. That belief guided every step he took. Sometimes it helped him, other times it made the road harder. The sport he wanted to join was not the same sport he once raced in. It grew bigger, it became more careful, it became less open. What once felt like a challenge began to feel like a wall. Not a wall made of rules, but a wall made of fear. Fear of change, fear of losing comfort, fear of sharing what others already had. Michael Andretti did not want to take the easy way in. He did not want to be last. He did not want to show up just to fill space. He wanted to belong. He wanted to compete. That choice cost him time. It cost him chances. It may have cost him his dream, but it also showed who he was. In the end, this story is not about winning or losing. It is about what happens when dreams meet limits that are never clearly spoken. It is about how doors can look open but stay locked. It is about how rules can be used to protect, not to invite. The Andretti name still waits. It waits not in anger, but in silence. It waits in case the world changes again. It waits in case the sport remembers what it once was. If the door opens one day, it will not be because of kindness. It will be because change can no longer be stopped. Until then, this story stays unfinished. It is not a sad ending, it is a pause. A pause filled with lessons about power, patience, and belief. And sometimes the most important stories are not about speed, but about standing still and refusing to walk away.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more content. Thank you.